Good afternoon to you. Today we will continue with the economy. In the last class we have taken Reserve Bank of India, and when we are about to complete Reserve Bank of India, I got some calls, some comments asking me to give the details of banking structure. Instead of going directly to RBI, they want to know the banking structure so that they are able to understand RBI thoroughly. I also said yes. So accordingly, even though we have started RBI, we have not completed, we have not gone to the functions. So before that, I would like to take banking structure very briefly so that you understand the importance of RBI, why RBI is necessary. Now, what is a bank? First of all, let us say, how do you define a bank? Bank is a financial institution which is an intermediary between those who save money and those who borrow money. There are one side there are savers, and on the another side there are borrowers. So this is a bridge. Bank is a bridge to connect borrowers with the savers. That is very simple. The bank performs a function by accepting deposits from the people and lending money to the businessmen, corporates, companies, farmers, and members of public. So this it should be clear to you. Now, I have already explained, for any bank, the deposits are liability and the loans are asset. Because in deposit, you accept money, you have to return money along with the interest. Whereas in the loan, they are returning you the total loan along with the interest. So, loan is an asset for you, deposit is a liability for you. The basic thing you should understand. Then, all the banking institutions can be divided into two categories. One is formal organization and another is informal organization. What is formal organization? Formal organizations function within certain norms, within certain procedures which have been laid down. These institutions are established under a law and regulated by a regulatory body. In our country, the body is called Reserve Bank of India. Under RBI Act 1934, RBI has been authorized to regulate the banks. Similarly, Banking Regulation Act 1949 mandate regulation of all banks. The network of all the institutions of banking is called organized market. This is called organized market. Then what is unorganized? What is informal organization? In this case, remember, the unorganized organizations may be a person, maybe a body of people, or maybe an agency, or maybe family operators. They operate lending under traditionally evolved norms. The transactions are purely based on trust and faith. The transactions are simple, quick, no reason to be cited for borrowing money. Example, you can say Munshis, Mahajans, Seth, and other people, other money lenders in the far-flung areas. You simply go, you give them some gold or something, they will give you money. That's all. No reason to be cited, no long process. It is within half an hour or 45 minutes, the transaction is over. No doubt. The lending rates are very high. That is a different issue. We are now seeing only the difference between the two. This is you understood. There are various types of banking system. What are those? One is commercial bank, second is cooperative bank, third is land development bank, fourth is development bank, and fifth is investment bank. So there are 5 types of banking institutions. First, commercial bank. What do you mean by commercial bank? Commercial bank takes current deposit, savings deposit, recurring deposit, fixed deposits. It also lends money. CASA, CASA and RD, FD. RD, FD. That is time deposits and demand deposits. Both are taken by the bank and it also lends money. This is the commercial bank. Very simple. Undertakes both lending and borrowing. So, these are 2. Secondly, cooperative banks. Cooperative takes only demand deposits, not time deposits. Only demand deposits. These banks are owned by the customers. The customers. They follow cooperative policy. One person has one vote and these banks are regulated under Banking Regulation Act 1949. So, customer himself is the client is the owner. That is the policy. Cooperative policy, every customer is the owner of the bank. That is called cooperation. So, all customers, owners, and each person has got only one vote. Only a group of people get the benefit and they get the loss also. If there is a loss, they have to suffer. This is number 2. Third is Land Development Bank. What is Land Development Bank? This is also called a Land Mortgage Bank. This is now called State Cooperative Agriculture and Rural Development Bank. State Cooperative Agriculture and Rural Development Bank. It provides long-term finance to agricultural farmers for purchase of agricultural equipments like tractors. So, it's a target-oriented bank. Who is their target? Farmers. How they are giving money? Through their own funds. That is the refinance facility. So, refinance by the state government as well as by the central government. Then comes development banks. What do you mean by development banks? These banks provide long-term loans to sectors which are, remember, these sectors are very risky sectors. Suppose let us say L&T wants to start a new project worth 500 crores. Commercial banks, it is difficult. Commercial banks may not give. So you go to the development bank. They are meant for that. So they will, all large sized projects will be financed by them. Normally, they do not have access to commercial banks because the requirement is too large. This is called a development bank. Then comes an investment bank. What is investment bank? Investment banks are also called merchant banks. They deal with the company firms and provide commercial loans, and also they undertake underwriting and investment. Normally, they do not involve any public dealing. Their main job is merchant banking. That is investment bank. Now, we are dealing in detail with the commercial bank. Let us first come to commercial bank. The commercial banks are of 2 types. One is scheduled commercial banks and the other is non-scheduled commercial bank. What is scheduled commercial bank? Scheduled commercial bank, again, it is divided into 2 categories. One is domestic commercial bank and the other is foreign commercial banks. Again, I tell you, bank is divided into 2 categories. Scheduled commercial banks and non-scheduled commercial banks. Scheduled commercial banks are divided into 2 categories. Domestic commercial banks and foreign commercial banks. The domestic commercial banks are again of 2 types. Domestic commercial banks are again of 2 types. One is public sector banks and the other is private sector banks. So, scheduled, non-scheduled, domestic, foreign, and domestic again, private, public sector and private sector. Public sector banks are again divided into 2 categories. One is nationalized banks and the other is non-nationalized banks. Nationalized and not nationalized. Private banks are of 2 types. One is old generation private banks and new generation private banks. Now, let us first come to commercial banks. It is a financial institution registered as a commercial bank under Banking Regulation Act 1949. Very important. How do you define a commercial bank? Any financial institution registered as a commercial bank under Banking Regulation Act 1949. It is specialized in mobilization of short-term savings and extension of short-term loans. Credit creation is their sole. Credit creation is their sole. A commercial bank is listed in Schedule 2 of RB Act 1934. You appreciate Banking Regulation Act regulation. Listing is done in Schedule 2. Schedule 2 of RB Act 1934, it is regulated under BR Act 1949. A bank may be regulated under BRA Act but may not be listed. It may be a non-scheduled bank. That is also there. So a commercial bank listed in Schedule 2 of RB Act 1934 but regulated under Banking Regulation Act 1949 is a commercial bank. These banks are registered under Banking Regulation Act 1949 under a commitment to undertake financial operation as per the provisions of RB Act 1934. So RB Act 1934 asks you to give a commitment to serve the public, and after that you are regulated in the BR. Now, non-scheduled commercial bank is also regulated under Banking Regulation Act 1949, but they are not registered as a commercial bank. That is, it is not included in Schedule 2 of RB Act 1934. See the difference. A non-scheduled commercial bank is also registered under Banking Regulation Act 1949, but they are not registered as a commercial bank in Schedule 2 of RBI 1934. Both are different. So if you are registered under Schedule 2 of 1934 Act, then you will get the benefits from RBI. For undertaking the business even without the help of RBI, you are subject to regulation under BR, that is Bank Regulation Act 1949. That is the difference between the two. Then comes what is known as a domestic bank. This is largely owned or controlled by the residents of India. They have more than 50% share, and so they are called Domestic Bank of India. Any person, any Indian can establish a bank, and the ownership should be more than 50% share. It is your domestic bank. Then foreign bank, any bank which is registered under RB Act 1934, largely controlled by foreign residents, including NRI, important, including NRI, is called a foreign bank. They have more than 50% share. Foreign banks, the foreigners have more than 50% share. Then comes public sector banks. Public sector banks are owned and controlled by Government of India. That is, government has more than 50% share. It is to be noted that 76% of our total deposits in the banking sector are with the public sector banks. And similarly, 75% of the total loans given by the Government of India, that is the banking sector, belong to public sector banks. So with this we will finish. We will continue with economy later on, next class. Thank you.